hands and say Hare Hare. One more time, Hare Hare. Thank you, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Wasn't that incredible? Witnessing the beautiful bathing ceremony of Lord Sri Sri Gauranitai. It was indeed purifying, enlivening, enlightening. Having witnessed the beautiful Abhishekam, now is the time to enlighten our minds as well with the festival lecture. We're privileged to have His Grace Sadananda Prabhu, who will share profound insights and wisdom, as he always does, in connection to today's festival. Prabhu is the temple president of Sri Radha Damodar Temple and is the Hindu chaplain at MIT. So please join me in welcoming His Grace Sadananda Prabhu with a loud Haribo. Haribo. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome each one of you to this wonderful festival of Panihati, Chidadahi Maha Mahotsav. Panihati Maha Mahotsav ki. How many of you are coming for the first time to the temple? 1, 2, 3. Can you raise your hands? Don't worry. Okay. Can we have a loud Haribol for all these people? Welcome to our temple. What are your names? Ashish? Pooja? No, one more Pooja. Okay. And what are your names? Nitya and Aryan? Arya. Okay. Arya. Okay, wonderful. So, we have a very beautiful festival. It's called, as our MC very kindly, ICA has mentioned few times, it's the Festival of Punishment. How many of you feel scared hearing the word punishment, that we're going to punish you for attending the festival? Okay. Actually, the punishment is so sweet that you would like to have this punishment every day. It's a delicious prasadam that you will get, which is the speciality of this festival. The prasadam is chipped rice mixed with yogurt and milk and lot of sweet meats, lot of sweets. So that will be the special prasadam which will be served. Now my job is to tell you as to why this special prasadam is served on today's day and what is the significance of today's festival. So this session is humbly dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. So if you didn't have the darshan of our deities on the altar, take a minute, pause for a second, bring your thoughts back, and have a heartfelt darshan of the Lord. So I'll give you a few seconds just to observe them. How many of you do not know who they are? Ashish? Who are they? Okay, who? I'll tell, but I just wanted to know if you know or not. You don't know, okay. Anybody else who do not know? You don't know, okay. So they are our beloved deities, Nitai and Gauranga. In this age of Kali, in this age of quarrel, they have manifested the most merciful incarnation of the Lord who appears here. On the right hand side, my cursor is Gauranga or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And on the left hand side, it is Nityananda Prabhu. So you see that there is a beautiful temple which has been coming here. And we have a very ecstatic celebration in the form of inauguration of the temple from July 1st to 4th. There could be many people who will say that, there could be different reasons how this temple came about. But in my humble opinion and understanding of what has happened, it is actually this merciful deities who were there since the beginning, who have guided us and who have showered their causeless mercy on us always, that we have come this far. There is a very beautiful song which is written by Lochan Das Thakur. He says, Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Saba Avatara Sara Siromani, Kevala Ananda Kanda. There could be many incarnations of the Lord, but the most merciful, Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, are these two celestial, this transcendental personalities who have appeared as Nityananda and Chaitanya, who are otherwise, as known as Krishna and Balaram. Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Saba Avatara Saro Siromani. They are the crest jewel of all the incarnations. Kevala Ananda Kanda. And the purpose of their advent, the purpose why they have descended, is to distribute pure, unadulterated bliss. Kevala Ananda Kanda. So if you really want to be blissful and if you want to know more, today is a great opportunity, you will get to know. Before we know a little more about the past time, what happened today, what is the significance of distributing this Chidadahi festival, I would like to mention that what is the point of hearing about Krishna? Why should we hear about the Lord? Often people come to temple, they come with some desire, they worship the Lord, put some money. In a unspoken manner, they say probably, the Lord, I have come, please take a note. I have also put some money. Now next is, whatever desires I have, please fulfill them. But this is a verse which comes in the Bhagavatam, very beautiful verse. It says why we should worship the Lord, or what is it that the Lord does when we hear, what happens? It's a very beautiful verse. If you want, you can repeat after me. Namo Visuddha Sattvaya Haraye Harimedhase Vasudevaya Krishnaya Prabhave Sarvasatvatam. It's a very wonderful verse. What this verse is telling, this is a prayer by Prachetas, and they say, Namo Visuddha Sattvaya. The Lord, the difference between the Lord and any one of us is that the Lord doesn't belong to this material world. He has a transcendental body, his existence, his appearance, everything is Visuddha Sattvaya. He is beyond the purview of this material nature. Namo Visuddha Sattvaya Haraye Harimedhase. The Lord does something in life for all of us. He actually steals our distresses. The word Haraye is to steal. And what does the Lord steal? He does not steal anything valuable in our life. He takes away all our distresses. Namo Visuddha Sattvaya Haraye Harimedhase Vasudevaya Krishnaya Prabhave Sarvasatvatam. One may wonder, you are exaggerating. How can the Lord really steal my specific distress? Haraye Harimedhase. Harimedhase. Medhase, the word Medha, in Sanskrit it means intelligence. So we say Medhavi. Medhavi is a person who has got that Medha, or is a very intelligent man. Haraye Harimedhase. So the Lord is using his brain and intelligence only to steal the distresses of people. One may say, really, it is possible? How is it possible? The next two lines it is mentioned, Vasudevaya Krishnaya Prabhave Sarvasatvatam. Actually the Lord, not only present in some Vaikuntha Loka, which is beyond our understanding or beyond our sense perceptions, the Lord is also there in each one of our heart. He exactly knows what is going on in our heart. He is cognizant, aware, conscious of each single living entity's problems. That is how Vasudevaya Krishnaya Prabhave Sarvasatvatam. That is how he is able to use his intelligence to remove the distresses of conditioned living entities. Prabhave Sarvasatvatam. translation of this is very beautiful. Dear Lord, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you because your existence is completely independent of all material influences. Your Lordship always takes away the devotee's miserable conditions, for your brain plans how to do so. Haraye Harimedhase. You live everywhere as Paramatma, therefore you are known as Vasudev. You also accept Vasudev as your father, and you are celebrated by the name Krishna. You are so kind that you always increase the influence of all kinds of devotees. Prabhave Sarva Sattvatam. This is the beauty of the Lord. So on this auspicious day, actually, if you ask me, the most auspicious thing that could have happened is that you get a chance to hear about this wonderful nectarian pastime of the Lord. Unfortunately, as the Kali Yuga progresses, the desire to hear Harikatha in people's heart will reduce, will diminish. Why? Because our heart is contaminated with so many anarthas, so many unwanted things. When it comes to watching some IPL match or watching some other soap opera or some TV serials or some of those things, we have a great interest. We watch with almost like hooked to the chairs or something. But when it comes to Harikatha, it is very difficult, very, very difficult. So the next half an hour, 45 minutes that you'll spend, this will be the most powerful, most profound impact that you can have in this age of Kali and the quarrel. Before we proceed, I want to speak about this verse in Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna says, Yasastra Biddhim Utsrijya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Nasukham Na Param Gatim. Yasastra Biddhim Utsrijya Vartate Kamakarataha. Actually, if you see, most of the people in this age, they don't believe in the existence of Lord, or there is very less faith and conviction in following the instructions left behind by the Lord. We have full control over our life. We think that we can do what is right, and I know for sure what is good for me. But this verse, Krishna very definitively, very conclusively says, Yah sastra vidhim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha. He who discards the scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Isn't it true that all of us in our life, the common goal that we have is we are looking for siddhim, sukham and param gatim. Siddhim means we are looking for perfection in whatever we are trying to do. We are looking for happiness, and we are also looking for the supreme destination. But this verse very conclusively says that he who discards scriptural injunctions cannot attain this. So it is very important to pay some attention. Our lives are always busy with so many problems, anxieties, distresses, worries, desires. So it is very difficult to clear those anarthas and distresses and desires and hear about Krishna. But if we just make a little effort, having come here half an hour or 45 minutes, if you pay attention, you will be immensely benefited. Why a person doesn't pay attention to or discards the scriptural injunctions? One word which is used in this verse is called kama karataha. Kama karataha is translated by Prabhupada as acting whimsically in lust. 99% of the people in this world, they act whimsically. And they act whimsically because they are driven by lust. Lust is not just having an attraction or desire to enjoy the opposite sex. It is also having that urge, very strong urge, to possess material things intensely. So when somebody is acting kama karataha, acting very whimsically in lust, he naturally doesn't feel affection or attraction for the instructions of the scriptures. Yah sastra viddhim utsrijya. They give it up. They don't feel or they don't think that it is important. Why? Because they are acting whimsically. There is a very famous episode which happened long back, many years back. This episode is the episode of Ajamil. All of you might be knowing. Ajamil was a trained Brahmana. This is thousands of years back. And he had once gone to fetch some firewood from a forest. When he went to the forest, in those days, it is not a very common sight that you see a man embracing another woman lustfully in public. It's not a very common sight, very unusual. And this happened. And when this happened, you can see here Ajamil, he is trying to hide himself. He didn't want to see it. He is trained. He is trying to control himself, yet he could not do. And this is what is mentioned in Bhagavatam, very beautiful verse. Stambhayan atman atmanam, stambhayan atman atmanam, yavat sattvam yathashrutam. Yavat sattvam yathashrutam, na sasaka samadhatum, mano madana bepitum. So very beautiful verse. Stambhayan atman atmanam. Stambhayan is to try to control, like a pillar, which has got strength. Ajamil was trying to control atmana atmanam. Using his intelligence, he was trying to control his mind. Stambhayan atmana atmanam, yavat sattvam yathashrutam. As far as possible, as much ability he has to control, he was trying to control. Yathashrutam, and he has heard this from the scriptures, that he should not fall for this. Na sasaka samadhatum, but his mind really he could not control his mind. Mana madana bepitum. When the mind is attacked by this madana, by the cupid, by the lusty desires, it is difficult to control. For Ajamil, this was just once in a rare lifetime where he saw this sight. Look at our precarious position, where just single, with your fingertips, you have access to all kinds of things. You go anywhere, people talk about how you can enjoy this material world. They are busy with that. That is what drives people. But mana madana bepitum, when he is driven by this, it is such a helpless situation. Often, people ask a lot of profound questions when they come to temple. What is the profound question they ask? Any profound questions you have asked coming to temple? Swamiji, blessings de dijiye. This is the only profound question people ask. Actually, they don't ask anything profound. But if really somebody wants to know, do you have any fundamental questions like, why am I suffering here? What happens after death? What is the reason for our miseries? We don't ask such questions. But if in your life ever you think, what are the profound questions? Go back and look in the pages of Bhagavad Gita and see the questions asked by Arjuna. Very, very powerful. One of the questions which Arjuna asks, just for your information, and this is in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, called Karma Yoga. This is not about renouncing your family life and going to forest or doing something. Karma Yoga means you can do your action, but the same action you can dovetail for the pleasure of Krishna. In that chapter, there is a question which Arjuna asks. Very powerful questions. Athakkena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Think about it in your life. Athakkena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. What is it that impels or forces one man to act sinfully? What is it? There are often times that I know that this is not right for me to do in life, yet I keep on doing that. Athakkena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojita. As if there is a force which is acting, which is forcing someone to act. What is it that propels one or it forces one to act sinfully? Does anybody know what is the answer? Trying to please your own senses. Okay, answer. What is the answer? Anybody knows the verse? Shri Bhagavan uvacha kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava mahasano mahapapma vidhyenam iha vairinam. Our enemy is not there outside. It is not someone with whom we are fighting who has got some Chattis ka ankada, those kind of things. It's not. The real enemy lies within. And the real enemy is kama, is lust. Kama esha, krodha esha. And sometimes, the lust, when it is unsatisfied, it turns into anger. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. They are born out of the mode of passion. Mind you, Arjuna, they are the biggest enemy. Mahasano, mahapapma, vidhyenam iha vairinam. Know for sure that this is the biggest enemy. So in this world where we are, first of all, no interest in hearing about the scriptural injunctions, and where we are constantly exposed to various things which we are not supposed to, in this world where lust is glorified, where somebody is angry young man is glorified, where all these vices which are glorified, Very important, very fortunate that we have got a chance to hear about Krishna Katha, because it can cleanse our heart from all these anarthas. So let us start with the episode that we have today, what is Panihati, and I'll quickly go, because we know this pastime, but there are some very interesting aspects which if we can pay attention, it will be very nice. So who's Raghunath Das Goswami? And it is mentioned in this beautiful verse of 6th chapter of Antyalila in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the magnum opus which is written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. You can repeat after me. Kripa Gunairya Kripa Gunairya Kugrhandha Kupad Kripa Gunairya Kugrhandha Kupad Uddhritya Bhangya Raghunatha Dasam Nyasya Swarupe Bidadhe Antarangam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mamum Prapadye Kripa Gunairya Kugrhandha Kupad. So Graha, Andha, Ku. Andha is blind, Graha is the house, Ku is a deep dark well of material existence, deep dark well of household life. Kripa Gunairya Kugrhandha Kupad. From that deep dark well of household life, by his mercy, Kripa Gunair, by the rope of his mercy, Uddhritya Bhangya Raghunatha Dasam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered him. Uddhritya Bhangya Raghunatha Dasam. Nyasya Swarupe Bidadhe Antarangam. He gave the responsibility of Raghunath Das Goswami to Swarup Damodar. Nyasya Swarupe Bidadhe Antarangam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mamum Prapadyet. Unto that Lord Shri Chaitanya, let me offer my respectful obeisances. With the ropes of his causeless mercy, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu employed a trick to deliver Raghunath Das Goswami from the blind well of contemptible family life. He made Raghunath Das Goswami one of his personal associates, placing him under the charge of Swarup Damodar Goswami. I offer my obeisances unto him. So this is that same Raghunath Das Goswami who's the main character of today's festival, and he was delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, by the causeless mercy of Uddhritya Bhangya Raghunatha Dasam. What is the causeless mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That is a trick to deliver Raghunath Das Goswami from where? The blind well of contemptible family life. Who's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If people do not know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, this is probably their biggest misfortune. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most munificent, the most magnanimous, the most merciful incarnation of the Lord. As mentioned in various scriptures, this is one reference, and this verse comes from from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parsadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedhasa. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam. Krishna Varnam, he is same category as that of Krishna, but Tvisha Akrishnam. He does not have the blackest complexion as that of Krishna. Sango Pangastra Parsadam, he is always surrounded by his associates. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer, and he comes to introduce this congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. What is the chanting of the name of the Lord? What did we chant, Abhi? So much we chanted, no? What did we chant? You. Chant loudly. Somebody else is chanting on behalf of you. What is the mantra? We chanted for 2 hours. Hare Krishna. Repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to introduce this chanting. This is a yajna, and the yajna is Sankirtana yajna. This Sankirtana yajna will be taken by people who are intelligent, sumedhasa, not people who are dumb fellows. who are not intelligent, they'll not be able to understand the power of this holy name. So in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This is the most merciful incarnation of the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared roughly 500 years back. Also, it is mentioned, why does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear? It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Rasa aswadite ami koila avatar, prema rasa aswadila bibidha prakar. Just to experience the sweet mellow of the devotees' exchange. Rasa aswadite ami koila avatar, prema rasa aswadila bibidha prakar. So formerly I appeared in the world to taste mellows, and I tested the mellows of pure love in various ways. All his dealings with his associates, with his devotees, is that of sweet exchange of prema, pure love in various ways. Okay, I will come to this. Actually, the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, one of the things that he teaches by his own example is how we should develop this renunciation for this material world. The renunciation from this material world is something which is very, very attractive to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says in this verse, Mahaprabhura Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Pradhan, Yaha Dekhi Prita Hana Gaura Bhagavan. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining, and it is very satisfying to the Lord. Mahaprabhura Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Pradhan. The moment some people who are coming for the first time, you hear that you have to become renounced, you feel, my God, where did I come? But actually, the happiness and the pleasure and the satisfaction in renunciation by becoming detached to this material world is uncomparable. Somebody who's used to just eating something which is very, very, by the social parlance, third-class food. He just used to eating that, and he thinks this is the highest pleasure. Has got no understanding as to what other pleasures are available. And one of the way to experience them is by developing this renunciation, which attracts the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vairagya karibe sada nama sankirtana, magiya khana kare jivera rakshana. Vairagya kritya sada nama sankirtana. The duty of a person in the renounced order is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra always. He should satisfy his belly with whatever vegetables, leaves, fruits and roots are available. But we make elaborate arrangement to eat. We make elaborate arrangement to indulge our senses in different sense objects, and we don't chant at all the names of the Lord. The pleasure that is there in chanting the names of the Lord is unlimited. Unlimited pleasure is there. The real bliss that we are looking for can be experienced by just chanting, vibrating these names of the Lord in our tongue. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us. But there is a big obstacle to that, where it is mentioned, Jivara lalasa yai iti uti dhai, Sishnodara parayana Krishna nahi paye. If someone is too obsessed to satisfy the tongue, the palates, and he's running here and there to satisfy the tongues or the demands of the tongue, Jivara lalasai iti uti dhai, Sishnodara parayana. He's always thinking about his udara and his tongue, parayana, he's conscious about that, Krishna nahi paye. Very difficult to get Krishna. He will not get Krishna. So if we are able to develop a little bit of renunciation, and if we are able to chant the names of the Lord, and we are controlling our tongue only to take prasadam, we can experience transcendental bliss, the bliss that we are each one of us we are looking after, we are searching for. So who are the 6 Goswamis? Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis. Who are the 6 Goswamis? Some people are feeling sleepy already. हो गया है अभी time. कितना कौन हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है? Yeah. Who are the 6 Goswamis? Okay. Sanatan Rupa. Okay. Anybody for the last 2? Jiva Goswami and Gopala Bhatta Goswami. So, there are very interesting words in Sanskrit. One is called Goswami and the other one is called Godasa, the opposite of that. Go means not just cows, it also means senses. Goswami, who is a controller of the senses. And Godasa who is a servant of the senses. Wherever the senses are dictating, whatever the senses are telling, somebody goes after that. That is called Go Dasa. That is most of us. But there are these devotees, as you can see, they were renunciant, they were mendicant, they were living in Vrindavan, but their state of consciousness was very, very exalted, very high. Let's chant this beautiful song, which is written by Srinivasa Acharya. You can repeat after me. Nana Sastra Vicharanai Kanipunau Sadharma Samsthapakau
Namna Shastra Vicharane Karipunau Sadharma Samstapakau
Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyau Saranyakaro
Lokam Hitakarnau Tribhuvane Manyau Saranakaro
Radha Krishna Padara Binda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko
Radha Krishna Aravinda Bhajana Nandena Mandariko
Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako
Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuvigo Shri Jiva Gopalako.
Translation is very beautiful. Nana Sastra Vicharanaika Nipuno. They are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures. Nana Sastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako. So they not only have scrutinizingly studied all the scriptures, they with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles. For what? Lokanam Hitakarino. For the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service. We will see the next one also. You can repeat after me. Tyaktva turnamashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhabat
Tyaktva Namashesha Mandalapati
Shrenim sada tuchhava Bhutva dina ganesha kau karunaya Kaupina kantha shrito
Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Kaupina Kantha Shrito
Gopi bhavarasamritabdhilahari Kallola magnau muhur
Gopi Bhavar Sambrita Bilahari
Kallola magnau muhur Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako
Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako.
This verse says actually what the most of the materialistic people, the people in this materialistic world, they are hankering after. They gave it up. Tyaktva turnamashesha mandalapati. They were very, very aristocratic, rich people. They had all the opulences that you can think of. But they just gave it up just like that. Tuchhavat. Why? And what for what? And what were they doing? So it is mentioned, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted loincloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna and bathed always repeatedly in the wave of that ocean. So to experience that kind of love in the heart, the love or the mellow which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to experience, one has to give up all these material things. The attachment, the attraction that we have, that in this material world I can be happy, I can enjoy unlimitedly, is a big, big myth. Big myth. And the amount of activities or planning, action one has to do to achieve a little happiness, not really worth it. But there is another kind of happiness which each one of us we can experience in our heart, which the 6 Goswamis came to exhibit and to demonstrate by their own lives. So, that being said, let's come to today's festival. So, the festival was about whom? I spoke about 2 people. Who's the first person? No, no. After that, I spoke about 1 Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. And then the Lord who met, who he met, who's the Lord? Who's the Lord who was incarnated in this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us start with this, the first meeting of Raghunath Das Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many of you here are 5 years or less? You're 5-year-old? Anybody who's here 5-year-old or less? You're 5? How old? No, they're grown up. 6 and 8. Okay. So Raghunath Das Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the age of 8. You know, there are some kids who find it very difficult to even sit for a few minutes. They're very restless. That's the nature of the child. But Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was born, he was not having any, he was not fond of sports. He was not fond of, doing any kind of mischievous activities. Very, very quiet, very reserved and very controlled boy. He got a chance to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the house of Advaita Acharya. And Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Raghunath Das Goswami got a chance to engage in devotional service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just for 5 to 7 days. But it had so much a profound impact on him in his heart that he decided enough is enough. I'm not going to stay in this material world. I should go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A moment's association with a pure devotee, or a moment's association, unknowingly, even if some of you are coming and doing some devotional service, you have no idea what it is, but that moment's association or that activity that one performs of rendering devotional service to the Supreme Lord, it develops that kind of a desire, let me do it. Of course, it doesn't happen for most of us because of our past conditioning, which is so huge, because we are not in the position like Raghunath Das Goswami, but still it creates that opportunity where we get attracted to Krishna, where we get attracted to Krishna Katha. This is our natural position. Each one of us, we have that Krishna consciousness within. But unfortunately, not knowing Krishna conscious, we are thinking about our mind, sleeping, body, this thing, enjoyment. That's all is going on in our life. And we are suffering. It is not that, that is giving us permanent happiness, or, it is something that it is worth cherishing. For acquiring that also we are suffering so much. But whereas Krishna, who's the eternal, who's the unlimited source of happiness, is there deep within, but we are not having any attraction because of this conditioning. But by rendering devotional service, automatically one gets attracted. There is a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam which says, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Hetukam. Vasudeva Bhagavati, when we engage in devotional service to the Lord, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagyam. Naturally we develop a detachment for this material world, because this attraction to this material world, I want to live here permanently with all my people, with all my things, is a cause of biggest suffering. When somebody who's too attached to this material world, at the time of death, the process of pain that he has to undergo is very severe, very intense, because he's attached. What will happen? What will happen to that? What will happen to my real estate? What will happen to my property? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my car? All these things will be there, and the process of death is the time of death, it is a very painful thing. So, but by engaging in devotional service, one not only develops the transcendental knowledge to see things as they are, also develops a detachment from this material world. So the first time Raghunath Das Goswami got a chance to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's also very happened how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Santipur. Actually, does anybody know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas in what age? Okay. Huh? 21. No. 24. Guess or asking me? 24. Anybody for 22, 23? 21, 24 हो गया. 20, 22? Take 22. 25? Okay, 25. He wants to go up. Any guess? 24? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas in 24, at the age of 24. He was beautiful. He had a golden complexion, dazzling. The moment he used to walk, people used to get attracted by his effulgence. What is the verse in Chaitanya Bhagavat which says, Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadhato sankirtanaika pitaro yuva dharma palo. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadhato. Kanaka is gold. Kanakavadhato. So if that gold is put in the fire, there is a radiance, there is an effulgence which comes out. And that was the effulgence which was coming out of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. He is the Supreme Lord himself. And when he used to walk, people used to just look at him with, like completely awestruck. Ajanu lambita bhujau kanakabadhato. That same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had beautiful long hair, as we saw in the previous picture. He shaved off and became sannyas at the age of 24. So, and he wanted to go to Vrindavan. That was his only mission. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu tricked him. Instead of reaching Vrindavan, he reached Santipur. And when he reached Santipur, he thought he saw Ganges and he thought it is Yamuna and he was about to swim. And, he looked behind and he saw behind him was Advaita Acharya. So he was surprised. He said, I'm supposed to be in Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya, what are you doing here? So he said, actually this is Santipur and this is not Yamuna, this is Ganges. But, O Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where you are present, that place becomes Vrindavan. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Advaita Acharya's house, and that is where Raghunath Das Goswami gets this chance to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. Now, to give you this idea where Santipur is and where our Raghunath Das Goswami is from, so anybody who is from West Bengal here? Nobody? Anybody who has been to the beautiful state of West Bengal? Okay. Okay, so there are two places in West Bengal as I have highlighted here. One is called Saptagram and the other one is Santipur. That's about 50.4 kilometers. In car it will take about 2 hours. So this is the distance which Raghunath Das Goswami traveled to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Raghunath Das Goswami was the son of a rich Jamindar, Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. They were his father and uncle. Very rich people. They were in Saptagram. From Saptagram, he went to Santipur to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 5-7 days. Now, we will have little bit of some chronological events we will understand, and we will have a quiz for those people who are interested in taking special Chidadahi Mahaprasadam. Pay attention. You may get, who knows. So, first thing that we have to know is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the year 1486. Okay, 1486 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Anybody wants to take a guess when Raghunath Das Goswami appeared? Just a guess. Same age? Who said same age? You said. Okay, good guess. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami appeared 9 years later in 1495. That's when Raghunath Das Goswami was born. And as all of you said rightly, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at the age of 24. Right? So 1486, if he is taking sannyas at 24, that is 1510. That is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And 1514, Raghunath Das Goswami meets again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with princely escort. This is the second time when Raghunath Das Goswami is meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, after meeting him for the first time, he was very eager to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always. But it was not happening. But he met him again in 1514. And in 1571, Raghunath Das Goswami quit his body. Okay? Is it okay? So, which year Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born? Okay. And which year he took sannyas? कोरस में सब बोलते हैं, हाथ उठाने के लिए बोलो तो. Okay. Which year Raghunath Das Goswami died? 15? 1571. Okay. And which year he was born? 1495. Very good. Good. So all of you will get special prasadam. So first thing is Raghunath Das Goswami was born to a rich Jamindar, Govardhan Majumdar, and his brother Hiranya Majumdar was also childless. And so he was very affectionate because his brother also didn't have any child. He was very, very affectionate. And they were collecting gold coins. They were the tax collectors, and they used to give it to the Muslim king. You know, in 1495, India was under the Muslim rule. So they used to give this, they used to collect tax and used to give it to the Muslim king. In 1510, this strange kind of a request came from Raghunath Das Goswami. He asked his parents, "Can I go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?" Now imagine if a child says, "I want to go to Disneyland," parents will be very happy. If the child says, "I want to go to the temple," some people will be happy at the beginning, but afterwards, say, "Itna temple kyun?" Right? And for all of us, like when I was in Bangalore and I was telling my parents initially, I'm going to temple on weekends and I'm staying there in the temple. We are taking prasadam. We participate in kirtan. They were very happy. Very nice that you are going there. Then slowly, intensity increases, right? So it is no more just for prasadam that you are going to temple. Now you start going on weekdays. You start going on some festivals. You start doing, you start chanting, getting up early in the morning. Then you give up all this meat eating, all this onion garlic. So then the parents start becoming more and more worried. Arey, मेरा बेटा क्या हो रहा है, हाथ से जा रहा है, right? जब तक as long as you are saying that you are going to watch some movies, you are going out with your friends, they are happy. The moment they hear, अरे ये तो मंदिर में ज़्यादा ही हो गया, and all senior elderly people with no hair or almost all gray hair, they'll come and say, "Baba, ये तो ये उम्र है, you have to work hard, you have to do this thing, you have to study, you have to become successful in life. Why you want to go to the temple? Is this the age to go to the temple?" Same holds true here. I mean, it was not so different in those time also. So when the moment parents heard that Raghunath Das is asking to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were worried. They were concerned. Of course, they were devotees, but still they had concern. And when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes for the South India trip where he converts all these big personalities. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was converted. Then he goes and meets Sakar Malik and Dabir Khas and converts them to Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fame and his glories were spreading in those days. And that just one meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Raghunath Das Goswami had a profound impact on him, on his consciousness. He was always eagerly looking, when will I go and serve the Lord? Actually, the real definition of bhakti we should see from the lives of these Goswamis. Just a quiz, trivia. How many of the, anybody remembers what are the 6 names that we spoke? What are the 6 Goswamis' names? Those who have not answered, raise your hand. What are the names of the 6 Goswamis? Okay. Rupa Goswami, very good. Extra this thing for him. Raghunath Das Goswami we are talking about. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, 3 is enough. Anybody else? Vaidhi? No? Mataji? No? इतना गाया, 2 श्लोका गाया, आप लोगों को भी गवाया. कम से कम नाम तो याद रखना चाहिए ना. Rupa Sanatan, no, Sanatan he didn't say. Okay, Sanatan is right. Okay. जब कोई बोलता है तो साथ देने के लिए सब हैं, बट जब हमारे ऊपर आ जाता है तो मुश्किल होता है. Just a trivia for you, how many of these Goswamis are from South India? How many of them are from Bengal? Okay, how many of them are from Bengal? One for sure, who said? So it's a good guess. नहीं तो question ही नहीं आता ना, Bengal से तो इतना. Okay, anybody? Okay, what is, how many? 3 to 4, okay. How many are from Bengal? 3? Actually, only 1 is from Bengal. Sesu is got, de dena, milega. You know who's from Bengal? Raghunath Das Goswami, obviously, because he's born in Saptagram, and family is all Majumdars. Gopal Bhatta Goswami is a Tamilian. He's in the Sri Vaishnava, this thing in the temple of Sri Rangam. Rupa, Sanatana and Jiva, they are Karnataki Saraswat Brahmanas. So they are also from South India. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he's from UP. So only one is from Bengal, that is Raghunath Das Goswami. So these are all questions which will again come back. So if you want extra Chidadai, be prepared for that. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's that meeting had so much a profound impact, after that Raghunath Das Goswami always wanted to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serve him. And he came and he met again and again saying that, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I want to join your movement. That's what happens for young people, some of us who got inspired by the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. We also wanted to join the temple full time. So when that happens, actually many people around us, they just can't fathom it. You say, what's going on? What do you mean by joining temple? Are? Jo puja karna hai, hum kar denge. We'll give you a special house. You sit here, you do it. Actually, this is something which is a very causeless mercy of the Lord. Not everybody gets it. Even there are devotees who are practicing and they want their children to join, but it doesn't happen. There has to be some mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu which helps one to see things as they are and develop a renunciation or detachment to this material world. Doesn't come. People are struggling, getting beaten up again and again, the left, right and center, still they don't understand. They still want to continue in the same rot, in the rat race. They want to win the rat race, but they don't realize that after winning the rat race also they remain as human being, right? Rat race में है तो क्या तुम जीतेगा तो क्या human being होगा क्या? Very interestingly, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives this story, which is very, very profound. I've told this I don't know how many times, but I still love this. How many of you have seen a circus? You've seen, huh? Life is a circus, okay. And but we don't see our life circus. We see others and we give a lot of advice, profound wisdom and all. But this is the circus which used to happen in old days when they'll put a big tent and there'll be a lot of animals, lot of those acrobats. They will do some special skills. How many of you have seen that kind of a circus? Who has not seen? Seen? You've seen? Seen, okay. So there was one such circus. Where are you from? Pune, okay. So imagine in your Pune, special circus, which was a lot of advertisements. Like we are trying to promote our temple, still it is not happening, we are breaking our head what to do. But this circus was so prominent, so expert, everywhere their pamphlets and everything was distributed. And very interesting thing about the circus is, the cost of entering the circus is 25 paise. Have you seen a circus in 25 paise in your life? Never, right? Nobody would have done that. And this was even earlier times, so 25 paise had a lot of value at that time. But still it is 25 paise. So since it is 25 paise and it is in Pune for the first time with a lot of propaganda, a lot of people came. Okay, they have all queued up. Only condition is at one time only one person can enter, because it's 25 paise, you have to get special this thing. So they are all lined up. What is your name? Anand. Okay, imagine Anand is the first person. You've come here alone or you have come with someone? Oh, also you husband. Sorry. Okay, so Pooja is standing behind you, waiting, and Anand is there. But now you can't go together. Anand has to go first. So Anand gave 25 paise and went inside the circus. And when he went inside the circus, he's finding that it is very dark. Okay, and he goes a little bit, tries to find out kidhar jana hai. Somehow you find your way and you go there, and you see that there is one huge person who's sitting there. There is a movie called The Green Mile. There's a huge, gigantic person in that. It's something like that. A very disproportionately big person, very huge, gigantic person. And he says, "So you've come here for circus? Welcome." So the circus begins now, and he starts beating left, right, and center. This. By the time you realize this side, it is coming another side, and then fully black and blue, he hits you, and then you are lying on the ground and crying, "Help, help, help!" And somehow you get yourself up, pick yourself up, and you clean yourself, whatever the bruises or the things are there, or the shirt which has been whatever it has become little stained or something, and you come out from the other side. The entrance is from one side and the exit is from other side. So the exit, when you are coming, Pooja is eagerly waiting. आनंद तो आनंद ले लिया, अभी मेरा क्या है, तो कितना देर से बैठ रहा हूँ, कितना टाइम लगेगा, how long he'll take. So Pooja is asking Anand, how was the circus? Anand, this is what is our material world situation. Well, that little happiness that we think, which is also not there, we are going through so much of miseries, so much of difficulties, so many challenges. Unfortunately, people say, the moment you start saying, Jagan Prabhu is coming to talk to me about his problems. I say, Prabhu, मेरा लाइफ में कितना प्रॉब्लम है, अभी घर शिफ्ट किया, ये है वो है, it'll go on studying. Before he finishes, I'll say, hold on, तुम क्या बोल रहे हैं, मेरे प्रॉब्लम सुनो. Like that. And then that person says, I had come to share my heart. I thought that, I am the most miserable person. He's saying, don't, hold on, just listen to my problem. And people, if they really open their heart and say what all they are going through, behind the external facade that we are carrying, the inside, what pain, what misery, what difficulty, if somebody shares, everybody will become renunciant. But unfortunately, nobody becomes renunciant. Still we are going, circus में जाना है, मार खाना है, खाएंगे, फिर आएंगे, फिर line में लगेंगे. शायद इस बार कुछ change होगा with that hope. This is what is our material life. But that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is telling that be a pounds and shilling man. Actually, renunciation is not something which is externally shown. आज वैसे ट्रैक शूट पहन के आए हो, कल से धोती कुर्ता हो गया, हाँ वाह मैं तो अभी बन गया पूरा उनका मंदिर के जैसा ही हो गया. Externally it is not required. You can continue doing your work, you can continue to be there in your life, but you can develop a renunciation within, in the heart. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Because moment we start showing it externally, it can be something like a what is that called? Falgu Vairagya. It's not really renunciation. You've not developed that. Just because somebody is doing, you're thinking that I should also do it. Renunciation has to develop in the heart. And when that renunciation comes, experiencing this bhakti rasa, this mellow of bhakti will become so sweet, so nectarian. Unless that renunciation comes in the heart, even to sit in the temple for some time to hear also will not come. Very difficult. So he says, be a pounds and shilling man to Raghunath Das Goswami, and he sends him back. Then what happens? Raghunath Das Goswami was engaged in household affairs, and there was an issue which happened. Actually, their father and uncle, they were cheating. Instead of giving a certain number of gold coins to the Muslim king, they were keeping more with them. Some 3,000 extra they were keeping. So the Muslim collector, Muslim king, he came to arrest Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar. Who's Govardhan Majumdar? Who's Hiranya Majumdar? His uncle. So he came to arrest them. But these people left. This is what in material world also happens. People whom you trust the most, whom you think they will be coming to rescue you, they'll be the ones at the time of your need, they will disappear. It happens most of the times. So they left and they could not find Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, and they caught Raghunath Das Goswami. And they took him and put him behind the bars. Here comes, the very interesting thing, how Raghunath Das Goswami was very intelligent to come out of this situation. These Goswamis are not some ordinary people. Even to execute material affairs, they were very expert. So what he said, he found that, the jailer who was there, he said, your brother and my father, they are contemporaries. They're like brothers. And amongst brothers, always there can be some fight. So why you have to take it so seriously? After all, I am, your brother's son, so I am as good as your son. Right? Because of some quarrel happened between you brothers, why should you punish me? Then still he was not, he was not getting convinced. That time, Raghunath Das Goswami told him that, you're not getting, he didn't say that you're not getting convinced. He said that you're actually a saintly man. You've got all the saintly character. I can see that saintly character in you. Why are you punishing me? Why are you putting me behind the bars? Release me. Whatever money you want, I'll give you. And he released him. and the matter was solved. There was a negotiation which happened with the Muslim Chaudhry and his father, and the matter got sorted, and he came out of it. But when he came out of it, his father and mother, they were discussing, what should I do with Raghunath? Can we bind him and keep him at home? Because repeatedly he was making attempt to go and join the temple. There are some devotees who join the temple, and then, sometimes parents don't understand why this devotee has joined. And they come and they forcibly take the child away. And they think that they will lock them, they will get them married, they will do something, and the child will, remain. But really, if somebody develops, gets the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu, the material world cannot keep him bound. So this is the discussion which is happening between the father and mother, that what should we do with this? It's a very interesting question which Raghunath Das Goswami's mother is asking. Our son has become mad. The word that is used in Chaitanya Charitamrita is called Batula. He's become mad now. Just keep him, binding him with ropes. His father, being very unhappy, replied to her as follows. What did his father say? Raghunath Das Goswami, our son, has opulences like Indra, the heavenly king, and his wife is as beautiful as an angel. Yet all this could not tie down his mind. And if you have money and if you have a beautiful wife, if that is not able to keep a person bound, what binding in rope, what it can do? He said, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has fully bestowed his mercy on him. Who can keep him, such a madman of Chaitanya Chandra? This is the discussion which they had. And then, like that, time was passing by, and all of a sudden, Raghunath Das Goswami heard that in the nearby place called Panihati, Nityananda Prabhu has come. Nityananda, who's Nityananda Prabhu? The other person that we saw in the beginning, right? So, who's Balaram himself. So Nityananda Prabhu has come in the nearby village called Panihati. When Raghunath Das Goswami heard, because they were not allowing him to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at least he thought that this is an excuse for me to go and meet Nityananda Prabhu. So he goes and meets Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, in our scriptures, it is mentioned, Naham Atma Bala Hinena Labhya. To reach Krishna with our own strength, it is not possible. We need the mercy of Guru. We need the mercy of Guru, who is a representative of Balaram, who gives that spiritual strength. Otherwise, this material world is so attractive, so complicated, and it is so orchestrated, so designed, that I would like to stay in this complicated mess of human life. I'll go through this problem, but I'll not come out of it unless I get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu or Balaram. So this Raghunath Das Goswami, when he heard, he goes and he sees that Nityananda Prabhu is sitting under a tree with all his associates, and he pays obeisances from a distance, because he was feeling he doesn't deserve to go in front of Nityananda Prabhu, and how can he meet him face to face? He was not even coming in front of him. He paid obeisances from a distance. Then Nityananda Prabhu was informed by his associates that Raghunath Das Goswami has come and is paying obeisance from a distance. Immediately called, bring that thief here. Get that thief here. Now, why Raghunath Das Goswami is called a thief here? What do you think? What was he trying to steal? Lord? He is trying to steal the darshan of the Lord, okay? Huh? Attention of Nityananda Prabhu. Okay? Any other answer? So far, this is not correct answer. Okay? Continue. मिल सकता है, chances है. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the property of Nityananda Prabhu. Without coming through Nityananda Prabhu, he was trying to gain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So that's why he is called a thief. So Nityananda Prabhu says, you bring that thief. And then Raghunath Das Goswami comes and Nityananda Prabhu blesses him, bestows his mercy by keeping his feet. And this picture that you can see. And there is a very beautiful sloka which comes that it says when Raghunath Das Goswami got up, he said, you are a thief, you are trying to steal, now I want to give you punishment. Oh, the moment you hear, like, in that earlier one ad used to come of Pan Parag, if you remember, very old ad. So everything is settled, and then finally they say, एक बात बताना तो भूल ही गए, बारातियों का स्वागत पान पराग से कीजिए. Pan parag, pan bahar, something happens, right? That, so like that, so he's bestowing the mercy has happened. Now all of a sudden, Nityananda Prabhu is saying, now I'm going to punish you. And what is the punishment? So he's telling, dahi chida bhakshana karaha moro gane, suni anandita hoila raghunatha mane. The punishment is that you bring chipped rice and curd and mix it and distribute to all the Vaishnavas. Actually, we don't know the value of, feeding Vaishnavas. Genuinely, if somebody feeds, spends his hard-earned money in doing that, the mercy that he receives is so much, very powerful, that mercy, that helps one overcome all the obstacles to come close to Krishna. Dahi chida bhakshana karaha moro gane, Suni Anandita Hoila Raghunatha Mane. The moment Raghunath Das Goswami heard that this unique punishment which Nityananda Prabhu is giving, he felt very happy. Oh wow, I have to serve all these Vaishnavas, I have to get all this chipped rice. Very happy. So and anyway he was a very rich man, so he brought sacks and sacks of chipped rice, milk, yogurt, and some people got to know that there is something going on. There are cartloads of chipped rice which are being brought. So they also brought some bananas, they also brought some fruits and all, and then that whole scenario, this thing transformed into like a big place where a lot of prasadam is being cooked. So they made two kinds of preparation. One, the chipped rice is mixed. How many of you know what is chipped rice? Unfortunately, some people who are in the US, they may not even know what is. Okay, all of you, I'm assuming you'll know. But some children who are probably born, they would have, I don't know, what is chipped rice? Chipped rice with yogurt and with nice, fruits like bananas and things like that. It becomes extremely tasty, very, very relishable. So two such preparations were made. One was with the yogurt and the other one with the milk. And it was sumptuously distributed to everyone. And then, so everyone eating while chanting Hari Hari. So there is a very beautiful thing. So they were eating and they were saying, Agyandila Hari Boli Karaha Bhojana Hari Hari Dhwani Uthi Bharila Bhuvana. So they were eating. So Nityananda Prabhu gave this order, Agyandila Hari Boli Karaha Bhojana. Now you start eating. And they were chanting loudly, Hari 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 Dhwani Uthi Bharila Bhuvana. So the whole, the universe was resounded by this Hari Hari Dhwani. And then in that time, very mystically, Nityananda Prabhu, by his mystical power, could call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kikariya bedaye iha keha nahi jane, Mahaprabhura darshana paye, kona bhagyavane. Other people were not able to understand what Nityananda Prabhu is doing. He was going and he was trying to feed something. It was appearing as if, sometimes in the ghost movies we see, somebody is there next to you, or this thing is automatically going out and he's drinking, like that it happens, right? So something like that, they were saying Nityananda Prabhu is going and feeding. But only somebody who was bhagyavan, who was very fortunate, they could Mahaprabhura darshana paya kona bhagyavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was present, and Nityananda Prabhu was putting this morsel of food in his mouth, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was putting in the mouth of Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu, if somebody is not able to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will appear as if this chipped rice is coming and going in his mouth without anybody in the being present. So this beautiful Chidadahi festival happened, and it reminded people of Krishna Balaram having feast in the forest. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are feeding each other. And then finally, after that Panihati Chidadahi festival, he left for good. There is a trick how it happened. I'll skip that, and I'll say that there are two things that I'll share, and with that we will close. Very important thing, how should we pray to the Lord? How Raghunath Das Goswami prayed, let us see that. So this is the prayer which Raghunath Das Goswami is offering to Nityananda Prabhu. He is telling, Adhama pamara mui hina jiva dhama, mora ichha hai pana chaitanya charana. Actually, one should understand one's low position, how much sinful we are, how much contaminations we have in our heart. Adhama pamara mui hina jiva dhama, mora ichha hai pana chaitanya charana. My desire is that I want the lotus feet of Krishna. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet is extremely powerful. You know, all of us, why uh, we feel sheltered because we have a house, right? We can, after this, you go back. It is not like you don't know where to go, right? Somewhere I have to go, and maybe I have to live in the car or something. It's not like that. You go back, and there is a house. House, there is a roof, there is a shelter, and it will remain. Of course, this house is temporary, but it gives us shelter. But the biggest shelter that one can take is the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. It's the highest shelter. So he's telling, Mora ichha hai paye pana chaitanya charan. There is a sloka which comes in Bhagavatam. Samashritaya padapallava plabham mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam budhir vatsa padam param padam 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 vipadad natesham. Samashritaya padapallava. Somebody who has learned or understood the strongest shelter, the strongest boat that one can take shelter of is the lotus feet of Krishna. Because this lotus feet of Krishna is like a boat which can help us cross this ocean of material existence. In this place, which is always in every step where there is danger, if somebody takes the shelter of that lotus feet of Krishna, is the biggest shelter. That's what he's saying, that I don't have any qualification, I am most sinful, I am adhama pamara mui hina jiva dhama mora ichha hai pana chaitanya charana. This humility is something which is exhibited by all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then without the blessing of Nityananda, we cannot get Lord Chaitanya. Tumara kripa bina keha Chaitanya na paye, tumi kripa koile tanere adhama he paye. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, nobody can reach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, even the most fallen, tumi kripa koile tanere adhama he paye. Even the most sinful of sinful person also get a shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Lord Nityananda gives this assurance to Raghunath Das Goswami, Nischinta hana yaha apana bhavana, achire nirvighne pave Chaitanya charana. Nischinta hana yaha apana bhavana. Nischinta, you now become, don't worry, you be assured. Now achire, very soon you will get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shelter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. There is instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das Goswami, and there are just 2 verses, and with that we will close. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Actually, there are 8 instructions, but I have just put this 2. Very important, what we should do when we know that we are desirous of taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, Gramya katha na sunibe, Gramya varta na kahibe, bhala na khaibe, ara bhala na paribe. Gramya katha na sunibe. Don't listen to Prajalpa. Don't listen to all this mundane material topics. Don't pay attention. Gramya katha na sunibe, Gramya varta na kahibe. Don't talk Prajalpa. Don't talk material things. Bhalo na khaibe or bhalo na paribe. Don't eat lavishly and don't wear clothes very lavishly. Amani manada hana Krishna nama sada labe, braje Radha Krishna seva manase karibe. Amani, don't expect any respect for yourself. Be prideless, manada, and give respect to others. Hana, if you become like that, Krishna nama sada labe, then you'll be able to chant the names of the Lord always in your tongue. Braje Radha Krishna seva manase karibe. Then you'll be able to worship Radha Krishna. Braje Radha Krishna seva manase karibe. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami spent his entire life in Radhakund, in Vrindavan, in just one place. And just practicing this. There are lessons, but I'll skip. There is a Falastuti. So if you heard about Eita Kahilu Raghunathera Milana, Iha Yei Sune Paye Chaitanya Charana. Thus I have described the meeting of Raghunath Das with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who hears about this incident attains the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all of you can get the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because you heard about the story of Raghunath Das Goswami meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him. So this is the important festival. Now we will have Arati. Raghunath Das Goswami ki, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Panihati Maha Mahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Which year Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born? Okay. Who is from Bengal? Which Goswami? Okay. And who is from UP? Raghunath Bhatta. Who's from Tamil Nadu? Okay, very good. So all of them, where is Badri? Give them some special sweets. Srila Prabhupada ki